Welcome to the Purposeful MD podcast. As a physician, you've sacrificed so much of your life for other people, your patients, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. What would it feel like to spend time doing what you enjoy and to live without guilt? I'm your host, Dr. Laura Sutton, a family physician, certified coach, and business owner. If you're a medical professional on a journey towards your most purposeful life, a life with more time and energy, and ultimately more joy, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to episode 10 of the Purposeful MD podcast. It's great to be with you guys today. I'm going to talk a little bit about transitions and changes because I'm going through a big transition right now that I'd like to share with you, and hopefully you'll come away with a few takeaways for your next transition, or if you're in the middle of one right now. So right now, I am leaving my job of 14 years. Right now, it's a Monday, and my last day of my job of 14 years was this past Friday. And there were so many emotions that I went through, and I really had to give myself the time and space to feel all of it. I just finished rereading this book by an author named Bruce Feiler. The book was called Life is in the Transitions, and I read it a couple of years ago and found it really compelling, really helpful. So I reread it as I'm going through another big transition. And he talks a lot about different transitions that people go through in their life, whether that's personal, professional. It's a really great book. I recommend it. I don't have any sort of affiliation with it and no kickbacks from recommending it, but it's just a great book and a great story that he tells in the book. And he defines these transitions in such a way that we realize that most of our adult life and a lot of times our childhood is spent in some sort of transition. And yet we don't really know the skills inherently on how to manage through them. And so in the book, he talks about some different ways to help manage through the transitions. And I just found the principles really, really helpful. He talks about 3 different periods of transitions, and we kind of go back and forth. We go back and forth among them. So there's a long goodbye, there's the messy middle, and then there's a new beginning. And I feel like I'm kind of in the messy middle right now, where I have said goodbye to my job. I've said a form of goodbye to some of the people that I work with. I've definitely said goodbye to the role that I filled and the work that I did. It's definitely harder for me to say goodbye to the people, and the people that I work with. I told them all, I'm not saying goodbye. This is a see you later. Because I've made a lot of important relationships and built a lot of important, strong ties with people, made a ton of friendships, and I don't want to let those go. Now, granted, it will be harder to keep up, and it won't be as easy as walking down the hall or running into somebody in the cafeteria, but there are still a lot of relationships and a lot of friendships that I want to maintain. And so part of my going forward is being intentional about maintaining those friendships and maintaining those relationships, even in the absence of this job, to kind of keep us together or be a common thread with us. And so my mind is kind of in these 2 camps where this is really my first full work day of not working at this job, and it doesn't quite feel real. I think there's a part of me that thinks, well, next week I'm going to go back to it and keep doing the work. And so it hasn't quite hit me that my job is over, even though I've been preparing for it for the past 2 months, really. I've been in the transition. So like I said, I'm in these 2 camps of feeling like, yes, my job is over, and now I'm in this space of kind of resting and reevaluating what is important to me and what type of life do I want to create. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. I want to spend some time on these mixed emotions because I think a lot of people assume certain things about how we should feel. I had so many people ask me, are you excited? Are you excited? And I am excited. I was excited. But there were still some other emotions that came up. And I want to talk through these because if you're feeling this, just know that it's normal and you're not crazy or there's nothing wrong with feeling these emotions. So the first emotion, I wouldn't necessarily say the first, but the first one I'll talk about is sadness. I had some sadness again about letting go of this role that I held for so long and the work that I did that I truly, truly loved, and the teams that I helped to build and the progress that I helped to lead and the people that I got to work with and the people that I just truly enjoyed being a part of their lives and them being a part of mine. So yeah, there was some sadness for the loss of those relationships and for the change in those relationships. Again, even if those relationships will continue and I want them to continue, there's a sadness there. There's a loss of structure. I've been working in some sort of corporate large company job now for 20 years. And so that loss of structure as somebody who is just so used to it now that's a big change for me. I have to create that for myself. And so there's also some sadness for what I could have done at this job, what could have been. There were so many things that I tried to do within this job that I just wasn't able to accomplish for whatever reason. And so there's some sadness there for what could have been and what might have been. So I had to let myself feel that sadness. I had to grieve the loss. It is really a grief. And if we think about the 5 stages of grief that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross talks about, I had to go through that grief. And again, just like grief, we're going to go back and forth between all these different emotions at different times. But I had to allow myself the time and the space. And there was a period a few weeks ago where I just had several days where all I could just feel was this sadness. And anytime somebody would come up to me and ask me, "Aren't you excited?" I felt like I needed to say yes because they are expecting me to be excited. And there was a part of me that was, but I was really, truly feeling the sadness at one point. So I had to give myself that time and the space to feel it. Another emotion that came up for me was guilt. So some of this was related to, like what I said before, kind of what I could have accomplished, what I tried to accomplish, but wasn't able to. But in this transition period, this couple months where I had let the organization know that I was leaving, let my team know that I was leaving, I was handing off different projects to different people. There was this weird feeling of watching the people that I was handing off to just really just take these projects head on and take so much initiative and have so much drive and enthusiasm and passion. And not that I didn't have that, but I saw these projects really progress in a way, just even in the short time of my transition, that I felt like, wow, well, maybe I could have done that, or why didn't I do that? Or was I not up to it? I mean, all these questions came up for me. Was I not doing as good of a job as I could have leading these projects? And so it was so exciting for me to see these projects succeed. That's really what I wanted. And it wasn't about me, it was about the work. And yet there was a little, kind of that ego side of me that's like, well, how come I couldn't do that? And so once I got over that, and again, that's not who I am. I'm not about the me. It's the recognition piece. It's really about the work and who the work can impact. I remember that it's an opportunity for these new leaders. Well, some of them are new leaders, some of them are not, to step up and to really step into these roles, take on these projects, and fulfill these leadership roles that they're doing a phenomenal job at already. And that just makes me so happy. So a little bit of the guilt at, well, could I have done as good a job as they are now? Just all these feelings. And just, again, watching these projects take off, it's like kind of watching your child grow up and watching them go off and do their own thing. It's really a quite mixed bag of emotions there. And then down to the excitement. A lot of excitement. I mean, there were reasons that I am leaving my job is to pursue my passion of coaching full time. And so there's a ton of excitement there about what's next for me, what's coming for me. It's an opportunity for me to really redefine what's important in my life and create this life for myself that just fills it up with the things that light me up. And so as I'm thinking about, okay, where do I want to focus my time and energy? And this is something that I really help my clients with. Where do we want to focus our time and energy? Because both of those are finite. We do not have infinite time and we do not have infinite energy. And so if we're saying yes to something, we're saying no to something else. And that's just the reality. And I think a lot of us feel like we can do all the things and we just can't. None of us can. So what are the things that I'm saying yes to? So one of the reasons that I'm making this change right now is that I have a daughter that's a junior right now, and we're in May, so she's about to be a senior. She'll go off to college in the fall of 2025. She will most likely move away to go to college. She's looking at colleges that are not close by, and I want to spend time with her. I want to soak up every moment with her. I want to be there for her and not miss any of these lasts that she's going to have in her senior year. And I really just want to focus on her and spend time with her. And what are the other things I'm saying yes to? So I want to be able to travel. I've got a wonderful trip with my daughter coming up, looking at college tours in the summer. And I want to travel with my mom too. We've got a girls' trip planned for later this summer and just really want to spend some time with her and have that flexibility to travel essentially when and where I want to. What are the other things I'm saying yes to? More rest. I'm realizing how much rest I need. More time in nature, for sure. That's something that's really important to me. Time with my family, with my husband, snuggling on the couch with my dog. That's something that I'm going to be doing a lot of this week as I'm transitioning into my next chapter, is just really taking time and space with my family. So that rest is really important, and that's a big piece for me. And I will probably do another whole episode just on rest because it's that important. But I know that I can only serve others as a coach, as a daughter, as a mom, as a wife, as a friend when I am rested. And we tend to think that we can just go, 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 but that's not the case. And it's really interesting how much rest I feel like I'm needing right now. I'm training for a race, so that's a big thing too. I have a triathlon coming up actually this weekend. So that plus the emotional kind of stress that this transition is causing me, I am needing a ton of rest. I've been sleeping way more than I ever normally do. But again, I have to allow myself that time and that noticing that that's just what my body needs right now. So creating a life for myself that is giving myself the time and space to do these things and to be intentional about how I curate my life, essentially. What do I want my day to look like? What do I want my week to look like? Cooking dinner for my family, that's something that's important to me. I want to start doing that more often. What are the other things that I want to do to fill my day and fill my time so that I'm deliberate about it and intentional so that my day doesn't own me, but that I own my day? And in order to do that, I have to have this mindset that it's okay to want things. It's okay to want the good things in life. So I was at a conference a couple months ago of an amazing group of women physicians, dentists across the country coming together called the Emerge Conference. And it was led by Dr. Dina George and Dr. Dawn Sears. They're amazing humans. They put this group together and put this conference together. And I came away from this amazing weekend really feeling like, yeah, it's okay to want the nice things in life and it's okay to have the nice things. And I don't mean tangible physical things like the shiny objects, but just to want more joy and more beauty and more of the good things in life. So again, family, rest, time in nature, travel, all those things. I'm asking myself this question: what do I allow into my life as I think about curating my life? What am I willing to put up with? What am I willing to allow in? And what am I no longer willing to put up with? So, what am I now going to say no to? What additional drama, stress, whatever, am I not going to allow into my life? So I think that's something that we have to ask ourselves too, is what are we saying yes to? And then what are we saying no to? And anytime we ask ourselves these questions when we're kind of moving into this new idea and new almost image of ourselves, it can be really scary. And I find myself just up against my ego all the time. And it reminds me of this time when I was studying for my MBA years ago, that I would be curled up on my couch with my dog and a book, my finance book or statistics book or whatever book I was trying to study for. And all I wanted to do in that moment was clean my refrigerator. I did not want to be studying because I felt like this lack of control around the studying, and cleaning the refrigerator was something I could do. It was tangible, and it was my ego trying to grab onto the sense of control. So I'm definitely finding myself in that space now of wanting to clean out closets and organize and go through all these things. And yet there's nothing wrong with doing that, and that I'll get there. But if it's getting in the way of my really exploring what's important to me and how do I want to be spending my time, then I just need to notice what my intention is around that. So the other emotion that has really come up for me lately is gratitude. I have so much gratitude around me for my family being supportive of this change. My husband has just been incredibly supportive throughout this whole process, and I just can't thank him enough. And hopefully he's listening. Just so grateful for everything that he has provided for me and his support for my making this change. I'm really grateful for the work that I did for 14 years, tremendous growth for myself. And I'm grateful to the mentors and coaches I had along the way. The coaches that I'm working with now, I'm so grateful to them. I'm grateful for the people that I worked with and the love and support and friendship and camaraderie that they provided me with. And I'm grateful for the work that I did. I'm really proud of what I was able to accomplish and what I was able to lead and change and the people that I was able to impact. And it's not something I ever thought I would be able to do. And I've done it. And it's an amazing feeling. I've just been really overwhelmed with gratitude over the past couple of weeks. So what's next for me? What lies on the other side? So I am going all in on my coaching business, and I'm super excited. Coaching is my life's passion. It's something that I found about 5 years ago, and I love it so much. I feel like I could do it all day and not get tired. I want to have the ability to serve more people and serve more clients. And I know that I can only do that when I'm being intentional, again, about what I allow into my life, how much rest I get, how much time in nature I get, how much time with my family I get, and how much I do that lights me up. So I am accepting one-on-one clients right now for physicians and other medical professionals. I'm also launching a group program if that's something that you're interested in. I will provide my email address at the end of this podcast. I have some speaking opportunities coming up that I'm really excited about. I love being able to serve and speak to a wider audience. And my book coming out in the fall, and you guys will definitely hear about that. And I have a wonderful team of people that I'm working with that are helping me to get that book out. And I'm, again, just so grateful to that team. So to wrap up, when we're in the middle of a transition, and like Bruce Feiler says in his book, Life is in the Transitions, at any given point in our life, we are probably in the middle of some sort of transition. We have to allow ourselves the time and the space to work through those emotions. And I talked in my previous podcast about how to manage those strong emotions. So go back and take a listen to that one if you're struggling with how to manage those emotions, because learning how to manage emotions is a skill that we just don't learn it in school. I don't remember a class called How to Manage Strong Emotions, but it's a skill that can be practiced and is so valuable. When we're going through a transition like this, we have to allow ourselves the time to process those emotions and work through whatever comes up. And we have to validate, because anything that we feel is normal. You might feel some excitement, some guilt, some sadness, some gratitude like I did. You might feel something different. You might feel anger come up if there's a transition that is something that you didn't have a lot of control over, there might be some anger. Now, I had control over this process in a lot of different ways. So that is not an emotion that I'm noticing, but that might be an emotion for you. And you might need to work through that and allow yourself to feel that. And we have to tell ourselves every emotion that we feel is okay. So give yourself the time and the space to work through those emotions, because we might go back and forth between them, just like the stages of grief. And this is totally okay and totally normal. Thank you so much for listening. If you're interested in connecting with me about my group program for medical professionals or my one-on-one coaching for medical professionals, please send me an email at laura@thepurposefulmd.com. That's Laura, Laura, at thepurposefulmd.com. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Purposeful MD podcast. If you like what you hear, please rate and review the show. Please also visit my website, www.thepurposefulmd.com, for free downloads or to discuss working with me as your coach.